Episode 36, guys. We made it another week. So good to be here. Great.
You sound like you're just counting the days of your remaining life.
Yeah.
Is this how you live your life, Matt?
Well, I didn't really do much today at all. I was just at my desk all day long. Didn't even go to the gym. So, it's one of those days.
Well, this February, it reminds me of the Februarys when I was in high school. Like by then, you've had like 8 years of, I went to public school, and you just get into this rut. Like after the holidays, after Christmas, there's no more breaks. It's just this long slog of nothing to look, no time off to look forward to, until maybe spring break or the end of the year. And the markets kind of feel like that too to me right now. Like February, like after we had the early Santa rally that I thought it was going to turn into this big Santa rally at the end of the year, and no, what we got was a little early Santa rally, then Satan really, and the big end of the year sell off, and then January more pressure down. And then February has just sort of been, it's like Kat was saying, Mr. Market's done a great job of making this bull run look bearish.
And even you're tired, right? I mean, you're getting exhausted by the sideways action. Yeah.
It's not that much sideways. It feels sideways, right? But I mean, actually, I've been looking at my portfolio, and it's actually been, I'm at new all-time highs for my personal 401k portfolio. Is doing great.
Yeah, because you got a bunch of DGen small cap stuff, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit.
But it just feels like it's going sideways because we watch it. Oh, it's retracing that area again, and it's testing back to that support again.
Well, and not only that,
yeah,
I think it's because there's so much to chase out there that people they just chase from one to the next. Like, oh, now it's BlackBerry. Oh, it was quantum computing. Oh, you got to chase this. And then sooner or later, all those people that chase, they get trapped, and then they start to panic. And that's what we're seeing a lot. What I think I'm seeing a lot on X is people, they bought when the risk reward was not in their favor, and now they are panicking. So I think, timing your buys is just as important on what to buy too.
Should we just talk about how to buy stocks?
Oh man, that's a big topic. That's a big.
Here's a hint: don't buy them when they go vertical. Like the green bar goes vertical. That's not the time to buy it. That's the time to be selling some of it.
Yeah, there's a follower that mentioned with Palantir, same thing, right? They mentioned it's like a bullet train. Whenever it's building a base, it's stopping at a station. That's when you're supposed to get on. And then whenever you've seen some warning sign, like it's slowing down and it's getting to a station and it's getting to your destination, you need to get off. But when it's running, you're not supposed to get on or get off. You're just supposed to ride, or you just wait for the next one. Yeah.
Apparently with Palantir, it's okay to chase though, right?
I mean, yeah, it's going to go to, according to Tom Nash, it's going to, I mean, he keeps changing his thumbnail on his YouTube videos, something is sometimes 700, sometimes 1,000. I mean, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, it's going to, I think it's going to keep going up higher. But yeah.
Here's an interesting comment, but the Goku Bucks does say buy breakouts. And he's right about that. Like if it's retracing something and you can see it's testing a previous high, if it gets over that previous high, test back to it, turns it to support, and then starts to run, you could buy that. But you want to kind of know how far it's going to run for, which is where it really comes in handy to have Matt, the great Matt Spee's retracement levels. Because I'm telling you, the more I use them, the more I realize Matt's a genius. He's known this all along, just figuring this out.
I don't know about that.
Wow, those retracement extensions work really well.
I would say Matt's probably I would take him as an honorary Asian now, because he does spend a significant amount of time in China. He does speak pretty good Chinese. So the thing is, I think he also sees the whole delayed gratification thing, because I think we end up catching the falling knife at wave 2, and and like subwave 1 of 3. Like that's what I'm sorry, subwave 2 of 3. I should say that. So we catch these wave 2 at the beginning of the cycle, and that's when the risk reward ratio is pretty decent, because you see wave 1 as a confirmation that something more powerful is going to come. And
but that's when. Right. That's when you get the most hate, though. Like, oh my god, why are you buying this trash? because it hasn't,
it's high or low.
Because it still hasn't moved anything. You know, that's actually what we're getting with like Coinbase right now. Why are you buying this trash?
Well, because it's building up wave 2 and it's getting ready to break out into wave 3. If you're into the oily wave thing, which I think Tracker is, right? I mean, that's
Yep.
that's the thing. Like, you buy early cycle, you buy it when things are showing some promise, but they're down and they look like they're just cooling off. That's probably a good area to buy. But anyway, I think there's also another topic to talk about. I think there's a lot of rotation that's happening. I don't know why people are so bitter, because there are a lot of things that are just running up really high, especially the really risk-on stuff. So, a lot of people are kind of stuck in the big caps and they really haven't done anything. So I don't know if, Matt, if you want to talk about the potential rotation on the tracker, if you have any thoughts about that.
Yeah. So I think, I can just pull it up first with IWM. Well, actually, I'll just go do the indices first, because that kind of leans into it, right? So right now, the SPY is at all-time high territory. I have this line drawn here where it kind of broke out, right? And now that's great. QQQ, same situation, all-time high territory. It caught up to SPY very, very nicely. And look at little baby IWM right here, right? Still at the 786 on linear scale, but it's back above all indicators. So is this a bullish development? I think it could be, because what does this kind of imply that's going to happen in the future? Well, this could be a setup for maybe in the weeks to come for the conversion line to eventually catch back up to the baseline and form like another katana, right, Kat? And then maybe try to go higher and higher again. So yeah, it's setting up for maybe all these all-time high things are maybe going to rotate into some small caps, maybe even rotate into some growth stock names and into some crypto names as well. So like the miners as well. So everything that was beat up or not moving, I can see a potential to go in there, especially the way the IWM is looking more and more bullish as the weeks go by.
Then you also have the RK, the Cathie Woods fund, actually looking extremely bullish too. So I think there's just money rotating into those kinds of things too. Because IWM, you do have these like small cap financials and crap that like we don't really pay attention to, but it is a risk on indicator. But I think we got another risk on indicator this cycle that we didn't have previously, which is ARK. So
ARKG and RK, they are both looking pretty good. But ARKK looks a lot better though, like way better than I thought it would be. It's already like I can just show our ARKK right here.
Do it.
Yeah,
they're it all.
Yes, it's just blowing my mind of the bullishness that is happening with ARKK, because let me just first off turn off these indicators, because I want to show you the true symmetry of it all. And I did not expect this to break above the 45-degree angle here, and it did, right? You can see it was a support, flipped to resistance, and it flipped it to a support, guys. Like, this is incredible. And now it's getting blocked by the 50% level, but I think that can break through. And when we put on the moving averages here, it smashed above that 200-week moving average too, the purple line, and already back tested it perfectly. I think that would have been a perfect time to buy if you were hesitant the whole time. Just buy the back test of the ARK, buy the back test of the 200-week. And now it's great. And now, not only that, if you look at the monthly chart, it's just even more incredible. It's breaking above the monthly 50 moving average, the 50-month moving average. So that's even more beautiful. But is it going to keep going? That's the question. And the monthly Ichimoku could tell us that maybe it might be hitting a wall pretty soon. So I don't know. We'll see if the momentum can continue. But the way I see it, if I stick to the weekly chart here, if it stays above this 45-degree angle, then it is going to break into that monthly cloud. And it's just going to do something like this. So, yeah, I can see this just keep on going and going and going, right? Even up to the 80s or the 90s up here. So, yeah, ARKK looks gorgeous, and it's been looking good ever since it broke out of the cloud back in November.
Yeah, I think that also has a lot to do with global liquidity too. Because I think we might be at this spot where global liquidity might be really truly coming in, because we've I mean I can kind of show some charts here too. Like you take a break, you congested Matt, you
go ahead.
I'm trying to line these things up here. So this is SPY, S&P 500, index fund. Really, since you can see that the bottom over here is the M2 Global Liquidity Index. It's the summation of M2 supply from the US, China, Japan, Europe, and Great Britain. And you can see how the SPY has just basically just been following this whole global liquidity. There's no mystery in terms of why the market is going up higher, because they're printing money. Why are they printing money? Is it all scam? Maybe. But they're also printing money because they had to do it to keep the inflation close to 2%, because of a lot of deflationary forces that Tracker always talks about, that they're constantly having a lot of deflationary forces from a lot of innovation that you're having. Companies are growing, and guess what? The stock market goes up higher because they keep printing money to offset that. And you can see that at a certain point, there's going to be some resistance level where the global liquidity just maybe ran a little bit too far, too fast, and it's just had to cool off here a little bit, like it did over here around 2014, 2016. You have a little bit of a slump over here with S&P 500. Same thing over here from 2018, 2020. You have a little bit of a sideways resistance here where money just really wasn't pumping that much. You can see that the market also is pretty volatile here during that period of time. And then finally, when you have the quantitative tightening that started happening around 2022, you can see global liquidity really since then you have like about 3 and a half, 3 years just globally just kind of going sideways, just not really breaking up. But now we have actually broken out of the zone and we just back tested it. So that might be the reason why Matt's kind of showing you got a little bit of a hard time kind of break about the horizontal zone over here. But right now we actually have a little bit of a bounce, a back test here, and we're showing a little bit of uptick here for global liquidity. So maybe we're entering a zone where it happened time and time again before, where we just broke out back tests, and we might have that little lick going up here, right? We might have that little lick going up here, right? We might have the little lick going up here, right? It's going to be really hard for a lot of people to comprehend that something like this can happen.
But where's that liquidity going to come from, Kat? This is what I hear. Where's it going to come from?
So there's something called the world testicle. No, anyway, actually, I don't. No, the liquidity is going to come from politicians who want to win elections, who want to quiet chaos from unemployment, who just wants the rich to keep getting richer and the poor to get poor. And if you want to talk philosophical, I can talk about this all day. But the money is going to come from somewhere. And right now, the source of money, if you want to talk about macro, there are a couple of sources of money. One source of money is actually just coming from the U.S. itself, right? I mean, you just look at the M2 money supply from the U.S. It's getting close to all-time high now, right? They always constantly print money. This is in log scale, by the way, and I can go date all the way back to like 1950s. They've just been printing money pretty much in a straight line here in log scale, right? And at some point we deviated from that around 2020 or so because of the accelerating, money printing, right? And we had to cool that down, which is what happened in 2022. And we finally were able to bottom the M2 money supply around October 2023. That was the bottom. And then since then, we've just been printing money, and now we're printing money accelerating in log scale. And we've just basically been going back to where we were before, back to the trend line. They do this thing. This is not surprise. And you go through liquidity cycles. This happens. There's no question about it. China's printing huge, right? Back in January 2025, you see how there's a huge uptick, right? They just printed how many, like $3 trillion or something like that. They're printing. You can see that on the market. What's really lagging is Japan. I think Japan's been having a little bit of a hard time, printing money, I guess, because their currency is just not lining up as good as the US. So they may be having a little bit of a lag here. You can also see that with their market, by the way. Like Nikkei has really been doing nothing for the entire year, probably because they're not, printing money. By the way, they're about to break out of my gain, by the way. So it's just, you can see a lot of things too, right? In China, you can also see that just looking at the Chinese market, looking at Hang Seng Jiso, Hang Seng Index. A few months ago, I was speculating that I think the Hang Seng is going to hit this negative trend line over here. That's what I was kind of thinking, which means I could hit anywhere around like this fib looks a little bit weird. I don't know why that is. Okay, there you go. So if you look at the log fib here, I was speculating to hit the 0.786 log fib, and in conjunction with backtesting this, bear market trend line, I guess. I'm not sure we're going to end up pushing above the January 2018 high here, but I think at some point there's enough juice here that I think it's probably going to push up to like maybe 28,000. If it breaks 28,000 or it breaks the 0.786, and it can go higher, but I wouldn't count on it necessarily because there's a lot of resistance that it needs to go through, one of which we're battling right now, which is the monthly Ichimoku clock. Regardless, this is higher high, higher low. This high over here. Let me turn off all this crap over here. This high over here is higher than this one, right? This low over here is higher than that one, right? And then since January 2014, January 2024, there's no doubt that it's been forming higher lows and higher highs. There's no doubt about that, right? And right now we're getting close to a breakout of the monthly Ichimoku cloud. Are you kidding me? Like, you got rejected here about 3 times. You have a hammer bottom over here, backtest the Tenkan Kitchen conversion baseline, and then just push through like that. This is pretty bullish. Like, it's basically telling you that money is going to come in. Last few times, and also I also want to say too, like last few times when Bitcoin was running, you almost need to have the you almost need to have the Chinese market running. I'm going to try to line these two things up here as much as I can. And I also talk about yields, and now shut up, okay? I don't want to monopolize this thing, but I also don't want to have Matt like being all congested either. So one thing here, this is Bitcoin here at the bottom. This is the Chinese market here at the top. All I really have to say is just real quick, you have this big parabolic move up right around 2015, 2017 throughout the entire move. The bulk of the move was increasing together with China. This is the Hang Seng Index. They really moved together. Whenever Hang Seng Index really started to like falter, that's when the Bitcoin really was not doing very well at all. And this big move over here around like late 2022, early 2021 is also happening with this big giant pump here, right? You wonder why this cycle over here was not as powerful as this one over here. Well, maybe because Chinese liquidity just kind of plummeted, from 2021 on, right? But right now, it's happening right now. We've been maybe gearing up potentially for a more parabolic move for Bitcoin. Maybe if the Chinese market is able to do well, right? Maybe we have a few months of very, very bullishness that's happening to the Bitcoin if China does well, right? So that's another potential source for liquidity, because the Chinese market participant, they probably don't want to stay in Chinese stocks. Just look at how they've been doing. The Chinese market hasn't really formed an all-time high since January 2018. So you have a lot of money that's flowing out. Where they're going to go? They're going to go to the U.S. market. They're going to go to Bitcoin, right? So you're going to have a lot of these things they're going to pump. You're going to have liquidity that are going to come in, and then finally, a lot of people are really scared about yields. They always look at yields whenever they pump. They always like, oh no, it's so scary. This is 2-year. It looks extremely weak. It's been forming low highs and lower low, and it looks like this is a bull flag, right? Maybe, but it just looks pretty weak to me. I'll show you why. If I put out the Ichimoku, it's just stuck underneath resistance over here. Right now, it's stuck underneath the base. It's been having a hard time breaking above the base. You have a bearish cross over here. It's probably like 2 years, probably going to come down, plummet to like 3.4% or something like that, which is going to actually bring a lot more liquidity into the system. 10-year is more resilient. You actually want 10-year to be a little bit more resilient because it's healthier for long duration yields to actually do better than a short, right? And even 10-year is looking like it's got a little bit of a evening star look to it. This is a very bearish look. The Tenkan Kitchen during a bull cycle, it expands, right? During a bear cycle, when it starts to get a little bit exhausted here, it contracts. You can see that it's contracting. It's still being used as support. It's still making a little bit of higher high here compared to that. But the entire thing is just getting really exhausted here, because you can see the RSI during the entire move up is forming a little bit around the top, and the RSI just continue to go down. This is a very much of an exhausted top here for a 10-year. So I think that it might just do a shenanigans. It might be a little bit stronger, but eventually I think it's going to go down to maybe like 3.7, 3.8% or something like that. And that's going to be pretty decent for liquidity to come in. That's it. If you ask me about liquidity, I just spend like 10, 15 minutes talking about it, so I'm done.
Well, yeah, and Also, governments have no choice. They have to keep
Yeah.
printing because our system relies on it. The whole world relies on it. Otherwise, it's screwed.
Yeah, the global liquidity. It's just kind of like it's like electrical current that runs a giant city, except it's powering all the economies of the world. And so, if the money supply runs too low, then things start to like sputter. The lights kind of dim out, and some things don't work at all. Um, and then then sometimes the voltage gets too high, and that's where you get like bubbles and stuff, and circuits start to catch fire and blow fuses and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got to do it. One last chart here, the IWM. I think there's going to be a lot more rotation going to IWM because usually when you have the crazy explosion of global liquidity, that's when usually IWM responds. When things are just kind of going sideways like this, IWM just consolidates, like crazy. Here, we've been going sideways for about like 2.5 years to 3 years. And IWM just been going sideways over here. So I think we're still waiting for that uptick here in global liquidity, and I think that's going to come because there's not really any reason for them to not print money anymore. Like I think like initially they're like inflations and whatnot, blah blah blah. Look at oil. Oil looks extremely weak. It looks like a dead Cantonese bounce after dead Cantonese bounce after dead Cantonese bounce. It looks weak, right? Like I'm not making this up. This looks like a descending triangle. This is a very very much of a concerning thing for oil. I think it might plummet down actually, which is going to be very confusing to me because if the Chinese stock market actually does well, and if their things are firing on all cylinders over there, whatever with like industrials or whatever, and then oil is looking like this, I don't know. Maybe it's EVs. I have no idea. I don't know.
It makes sense. We double wicked up there, and we hit peak oil in 2022.
Deflation everywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of deflationary forces like DeepSeek, ChatGPT, Palantir, Tesla with full self-driving. I mean, like it's
Grok 3.0.
Absolutely insane to think about. Anyway, I'm gonna pass the mic to you all guys. When do you all take it?
Yeah, Tracker, you have something you want to show?
I don't know. I could show my screen here, and I just wanted to try and revisit CAT's. This is the IWM divided by the SPY. Is that how you would do it, Cat, or do you use a different index?
Yeah, actually, if you do the RUT over SPX, that gives you even a longer horizon.
Thank you.
Yeah, that gives you an even longer horizon. There you go.
Yeah. So here's let's go to monthly. Oh yeah, that's better because you can kind of see it oscillates. You'd expect these two to oscillate, between like a sine wave, like 1 0 1 0. So I don't know. It looks like we're testing the limits of where the cycle hit back here in 19. Oh gosh, I can't even tell what year that is, but before 1993, we're just a little bit lower than it. I don't know. And so this is literally, the small caps divided by the big caps. And so as it goes down, the small caps are doing less well versus the big caps. But it looks like it's ready for, it could do a turn here somewhere. So that's what we're talking about, the rotation from large caps into small caps. And it is a lot of pressure. You can see where it keeps trying to jump up out of the
you can see some bullish divergence building up. You can see some bullish divergence building up too. Like, the deceleration has gotten less. Oh, sorry. I mean, the acceleration to the downside has gotten slower.
Yes. Yeah. So you get like a weekly chart. It looks like this. It looks like it's starting to build a base right through here. Like this whole area right here. This is the last big up, and then now it's kind of like oscillating right between here. And it's going to, right here where it printed green maybe in June, maybe it'll go through like this. Anyway, that's all. I love to think about dividing one by the other the way you showed me that. I think episode 2 or 3 of the Triumvirate show. If you look way back in
a long time ago.
Yeah,
how sentimental of your record.
Well, let's see.
I mean,
let's talk.
We've been talking about the everything rally for a long time, and it still hasn't happened yet, Kat. When is it going to happen?
It's happening. It's already happening. People are
Where's
rotating
our happy
from one
ending?
thing to another.
Coinbase
It is
is falling off a cliff.
It's happening. Everybody is chasing one thing after another, and when their things does nothing, they're very bitter because they see Grab going up like 8% today. They see like BlackBerry go up. Like everything. Like people are bitter because their thing has done nothing, or they've gone down, and everything else has just gone up. Like that's what people are bitter about, and they're chasing, and they want to find a guru that tells them what to chase at that particular moment. But that's not necessarily me. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so here's Grab making a break for it. That's a previous high, and it's going to make it's on the verge of a breakout, maybe after the earnings or just before it. I don't know. I can't tell which one. But then versus I just had coin up here. Where'd it go? Was I looking at Conel? Was I looking at Conel? Conel, a derivative coin. Yeah, here it looks like it just like went down after earnings. But if you look back farther, it's making the low was after this big high up here, 80. Let's do coin. Sorry, not Conel. After it hit this all-time high of 349.75. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. And then it ran back down here to 244.22. Since then, it's just made a higher high and a higher low. And so you can see it's literally just like I've got drawn here. I started this as a new wave cycle. This is wave 1, wave 2. And now this may not even be technically the minor degree 1, 2. Like I want to call it that, but I think it's too small. I think this is just the AB. What am I looking for? Like instead of this being a 1, 2, maybe it's actually just AB, and then here's your C up here, and then this is your 1, and then down here's your 2. So, like this is almost not even crazy enough. Like the next minor degree 1 should make a little higher high than the previous wave 1, and the minor degree 2 might fall in halfway in between here. So something just crazy like the 380s back to 330 or 320s again, and that would look like a real minor degree 1, 2. Anyway, but just based on this chart alone, yeah, I'm looking. This is actually your wave start. This is actually my minor degree 1, 2, and then I'm just looking for a sub 1, 2 inside of that. But regardless, I just see coin is just like it's just going to go crazy. Just like if you look back, let's do one of Matt's things here. We'll use Matt's retracement levels from the 31.55 low here, retracing back to the previous all-time, well, not all-time high. Yeah, it is all-time high, 429.54. And then if it goes up 141%, that's 594.31. 127.2% is kind of what I'm talking about over here with this wave 3. But I've even got past that with my extensions. People just don't realize how bullish this looks for coin. That this is your wave 1, wave 2, minor degree wave. This wave 3 sub 1, wave 3 sub 2. Yet they just go crazy from here. Like, just for an example, let's compare it to Grab, where you look way back in here, and this is like your wave start. It's like an AB. This is like your 1, 2. Here's your 3, 4, and then 5 finished up there. So, and we're just like, as far as Coinbase goes, we are just we're right here. You are here with Coinbase. Copy. Go back to Coinbase. That's where we are right now. So, when this wave keeps growing, you're going to see you're here, and then coin will end up the cycle up here somewhere. So that's why I've got it drawn just like this. Like, it's not quite the same scale, but you kind of get the idea. Anyway, you're not bullish enough. It's going to be great. Coin MicroStrategy is going to work. Bitcoin.
But
Keep going.
Robinhood is going to take all their customers.
Oh, that's so silly. Robinhood's just a small. They're a smaller fish. They're trying to get bigger, but like it's going to be a retrace.
Yeah,
I think.
Robinhood's bullish. Yeah, they're both bullish. There's
Yeah.
enough crypto in the world for them both to succeed very, very well.
Robinhood went up so high. I've got.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
I don't
we're not
see
gonna talk
Robinhood being the
about it.
Coinbase killer.
It looks like it.
That's never really been a discussion. I think
No.
they do very different things, and I think they're very different companies. I think they
Is
have
it-
different rules in the crypto.
It's just
market.
because what?
But you
It's
hear the
because
narrative.
Hood came out with their earnings, and the stock went up, and then Coin came out with their earnings, the stock went down. That's the only reason
Well,
people are saying that.
Coin also
Hood did
rallied
Coin.
like off of Robinhood's earnings too, the same day. So
Exactly, they did ahead of that, right after earnings. Yep. Because if people are expecting, oh, well, if Robinhood made all this money off of trading crypto, Coin's going to make even more money, and they did.
double.
They made so much money.
They
Exactly,
doubled
in
their
percentage
revenue.
wise. Look at this earnings. Surprise, 106% to the upside.
And
Revenue,
they
surprise,
raised
23%
guidance
to the
too.
upside. Yeah, and then what happened? The price went down, but it didn't go down because the earnings was bad. It just went down because technically from the chart, it just was ready to test a little bit support level
Market
before pushing higher, and the market makers wanted to send it that way. Market makers wanted to blow up your calls, all that. I guess I should stop saying you're not bullish enough, because apparently there are plenty of people that are plenty bullish to throw their money into calls, short-term calls, and then that makes the market maker say, "Hey, whoa! We're not going to pay all these calls. We'll just sell shares and keep the price suppressed until these calls blow over."
So the moral of the story, guys, don't do options. No.
I think maybe I should shut up about Coin, because maybe the market maker is following us, and not
Maybe, yeah. Maybe.
Know, yeah.
I don't know. I haven't posted this chart on X though ever, so that's one I'm having.
Oh, let's see it.
Yeah, I'll pull up mine. Maybe I showed it one. Oh, I did show it. It was the two paths. I did show it just one time. This is the linear scale one. I never show the linear. I always show the log scale. But the linear is just so freaking beautiful. It's like, how could I not be bullish on this stock? And it's the trend. The trend of this is the 45-degree angle, and it gets liquidity below it, and it goes higher. It gets liquidity below it, and it goes higher. And it almost got liquidity below it there. So maybe one more time it could go just back, double tap the 240s. It could do that, right? And then goes higher. But we are basically judging by this intersection here. We're kind of like, let's see, March 10th, the week of March 10th. We're like a few weeks away from this intersection. So maybe a couple more weeks of pain before all the gain. It just doesn't make any sense to be bearish at all. And I think this intersection does sit around like 259, 260, or if it goes down even further, down to the 45, then that's like 254 again. But yeah, I think what we're really looking at is just the beginning of its next leg higher. And before that, it has to shake people out. And the reason why, it just followed the conversion line down so perfectly. Look at this. After here, it followed it down perfectly. So it didn't matter what was going to happen on earnings, because I think they wanted to just keep it below the conversion line. And that's at 275. So just give it more time. Just give it maybe until mid-March or so. And then I think that could be enough time to finally start building the wall of worry, and then just rock it out of there. Right? And just do something like this. Yeah. No, it's a really bullish chart, and I think anybody that is on X saying, "Oh God, it looks like it's going to collapse. It's going to go to 220. It's going to go here. It's going to go there." I mean, in reality, you don't even need anything else except for just drawing a line. Really, if you look at it that way. If you look at something like that without any TA on there, does this look like something bearish to you? No, because it's. Since the IPO, it was basically a resistance, tried to break out, fake out, flipped it, confirmed it to a resistance back in 2021. And it's been a resistance ever since, here, until this breakout, back test, liquidity grab, and now another back test. So this zone is super bullish. And I think Tracker is right by saying, like, I don't think you're bullish enough, because even if it does go a little bit more deeper in liquidity, like, that's even a better opportunity. Like, this is the exact thing saying, or the exact thing say, this is the exact thing I was this is the exact thing I was saying, where you want to buy when the risk reward is in your favor. And right here, this is where the risk reward, the lower it goes, the better your risk reward. And for all the people that bought up here, I'm sorry, but the risk reward was not in your favor, because it was near a previous a previous top back in 2021. So the higher it went here, that was the opposite. That was more risky, and nothing was really in your favor. But now it is looking like the risk reward is in your favor, and this has the potential to blow people's minds in the months to come, not necessarily weeks, but just give it time. Be patient, because I am super bullish on it. I know Kat is too. We both were buying some Con L today. Yeah, I'm bullish.
I was telling my subscribers to buy Connell as well.
Yeah, I don't tell my subscriber to do anything. I just tell them what I do. They can do whatever the hell they want. I really don't care.
Well, I tell them, I say, this is, if I had more money,
that's
this
the way
is
to
where
do
I'd
it. That's the way to
Connell.
do it, Tracker. I can show some cards here.
I basically, hint, hint, wink, wink, buy more Connell.
I'm buying more
This is a great
Connell.
book to buy.
I'm trying to figure out if I'm gay or not. You guys figure out whatever you want to do. You know? But anyway, no, I'm not gay. But anyway, yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I actually wish I was. Anyway, so let's pull up the monthly chart here. We got the Coinbase chart here with some of the Ichimoku indicators being shown here, and we also got Palantir here on the right with some of the Ichimoku cloud indicators being shown here. I really see a lot of similarities between these two, because they have both gone through a bullish cross over here of the base and conversion line, and they both, after bullish cross, they both basically just came back test the baseline and then pushed through and then back test the conversion line very beautifully. A lot of people during this very bullish structure here, a lot of people got really frustrated about Palantir. They got extremely frustrated about Palantir, because it looks like it's been doing nothing for 3 months, right? I don't know if people forget about that. Now it's just a bullish stock, but I remember back then, the sentiment was this: if it ever gets to the 30s, I'm selling everything. If it pushes up to the 30s, I'm going to sell the rip, right? That was
Oh man, I so remember
that was the sentiment. And
because that's what the market makers wanted people to do. They're like, oh yes, we're gonna buy all of their shares at the 30. And that's exactly, it was like the transfer of wealth happened right there at the 30s.
Yeah, it's insane. I remember, and the same sentiment is happening right now with Coinbase. I'm not saying that Coinbase is going to be the next Palantir. I'm saying that Coinbase is going to be the next Coinbase. That's what I'm saying. So what do you see at Palantir? I really think that this is like wave 1 over here, right? And this is kind of a little bit like a flat, if you will. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like a little bit of flat here. I think this is wave 2. Yeah. And then this is wave 3, sub 1 of 3, right? Wave 3 is ongoing right now. I don't know when wave 3 is going to end, right? And then you have 4 and 5. I don't know. Like, it might end. Wave 3 is like the most powerful one of them all. It might end like at 1,000, it might end like 200 or 300. I have no idea. Like, nobody knows, right? So it's ongoing right now. There's no sign that wave 3 is stopping anytime soon, and that's kind of what I'm looking at, right? Well, what's happening here with Coinbase? You're seeing a very similar structure here, right? This is wave 1, right? You just like where you draw Tracker. This is wave 2, and this is sub 1 of 3, right? And who knows how far this wave 3 is going to go? Like, it's going to go to 20 to 25,000. I don't know, right? Probably not. It's probably going to end up maybe like somewhere in like it's probably going to end up somewhere in like the 4 figures, right? I don't know how high it's going to go. I'm going to be conservative here and say like 1,000. I mean, conservative, right? Quote, quote. Because when things break out, they can really break out. And there's no guarantee that this has to work out, because obviously these are fractals and they're different companies. They don't always have to reflect one another. But I just think that the thesis in terms of global liquidity and what they do, what Coinbase does is they help people trade crypto, right? They also help custody crypto for institutions as well. And if you think about what crypto does, the most bullish part of crypto happens where you have rotation of Bitcoin into altcoins. And this can be shown in an indicator, well, not an indicator, but this can be shown in a chart called Bitcoin dominance, right? BTC.D. And the Bitcoin dominance really goes hand in hand with global liquidity. Whenever you have a spike in global liquidity, whenever you have a back test of the global liquidity after you break a resistance zone over here, this is like the bear market, right? I was just showing you, this is like the bear market here, right? When it was a resistance, right? This whole thing here has been like a more or less of a bear market. I mean, you do have a little bit of uptrend here for Bitcoin, but it hasn't really been that powerful. And right now, we might be getting ready because we just have the breakout and back test, very similar to over here, And when we had the leg up in global liquidity, Bitcoin dominance just plummets. What that means is that the overall currency market, the percentage of the market cap that belongs to Bitcoin, right? So if Bitcoin dominance drops, that means altcoins do very, very well, right? If Bitcoin's dominance drops, that means altcoin does very, very well. And Bitcoin can also keep going up together with it when Bitcoin dominance drops. Bitcoin, this is a bull market of Bitcoin. Bitcoin keeps going up. So it's not like I'm bearish on Bitcoin or anything like that. I just think that whenever they've been accumulating these altcoins for a couple of years now, and they want to pump. What they want to pump, they want to wait for global liquidity to come in so they can pump everything. And they can start pumping everything at the beginning to make the sentiment feel extremely terrible. So you won't want to buy. And then eventually it starts pumping. You are going to end up believing in the bull market. And they're going to make the narrative sound more and more bullish. And that's when the risk gets higher and higher, right? I think right now it's still relatively low risk because we still haven't really, assuming that I'm right. I mean, next thing you know, global liquidity can like plummet down, and who knows? Like, I don't know why that would be, but probably not because it just keeps going up higher over time, right? And I think it's just doing a back test here. Looks like getting ready to go up over that. If what I'm seeing here is accurate, then I think we're getting to a point where we're going to end up having a drop of Bitcoin dominance relatively soon, and altcoins are going to go up. But nobody's going to believe that because it's not happening right now. Nobody is going to care because you're not seeing any evidence for sentiment or for a price of altcoins to really make you believe in that, right? But I'm looking from like global liquidity. I'm looking from a cycle perspective. I think it's probably going to happen. If you just look at the Bitcoin dominance chart by itself, it's been building up a lot of bearish divergence, right? As the Bitcoin dominance go up, RSI kind of trend down here, and right now you just have very much of like an exhaustive kind of wick over here, and you have RSI kind of going down. So I wonder if global liquidity is going to start pumping, and there's some evidence that it is because you're talking about like Fubo going up like crazy, you're talking about Graph going up crazy, you're talking about like even like Rivian's chart is looking a lot better. Like you're talking about all these things that are happening. I think global liquidity is on the uptick. And I think China market is also pumping. I think this would probably end up working out. We will see. And this is a higher high here. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it can keep going up a lot higher and go up to like 100% for all I know. All coins get destroyed for all I know. I don't know, right? But what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a lot of divergence. I'm seeing that global liquidity is on the uptick. And I'm actually seeing that the sentiment is just extremely horrible right now for altcoins. So if it turns out to be one of those trickery things where they get your sentiment to be extremely horrible, like what Palantir was in the 20s, maybe that's where we're at right now with Coinbase. I don't know. Anyway, back to you guys.
I love that whole synopsis.
Yeah, I would agree completely because they want to get you in the mentality of like, oh, if I can only break even, I'm gonna get out of it. And when you break even, you get out of it, and then that's when it really takes off. So that happens over and over again.
And then they get you to chase.
Yeah, and then they get you to chase. Yeah.
And they buy your shares back from you at a discount on every retest of a previous support.
Yeah.
If you always buy when it goes green and you always sell when it goes red, you're always losing money and you're always giving it to the Mr. Market.
I mean, none of this is necessarily gonna work out per se, right? I don't know. I'm just guessing here, but if you look at a total market cap for cryptocurrency, look at the total 3, which basically is the total cryptocurrency market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, it basically is showing you the same chart as Coinbase. This is like the same thing, you know, and it's building up a big base here. This might be the launching pad for altcoins potentially. I just see a lot of things that I'm just that just kind of makes me think twice about being too bearish here. I just want to make sure that I'm directionally correct. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not allocating all my assets into, you know, cryptocurrency stuff here. I have enough Palantir. If things go wrong, Palantir keeps going to the moon. I don't care, you know. But at some point, I just see like some risk reward ratio. Like I have fresh money in. I'm not going to buy Palantir. Majority of the gain has been made. I'm trying to find out other things that have better risk reward ratio. And if you just look at the last cycle, it looks like it did the same thing. Like, can you imagine how bitter people over here back in like July and August and September when Bitcoin was, you know, already kind of pumping and altcoin really was just not doing too much, right? The next thing you know, it just happens in a hurry. And right now, I think we're at a very, very similar juncture. We had this bullish crossover here. We have a pump of the crypto market cap here, but people are just complaining that it's not enough. Well, yeah, I guess, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you get out of it then. I don't know what else to say. But this happened before too. Like, there's nothing different really from this cycle to last cycle, except that I think we're still waiting for the global liquidity uptick to happen. And the Chinese market is telling us that maybe there is money coming. So, get off my chart, man. Somebody talk about Tesla or something.
Well, I have something to add with that total. Just the regular total, just the whole crypto market cap. How is this bearish too? Building a base on top of the 2021 high, right? How, like, I want I want anybody to answer, like, how is this bearish? It's literally has not closed a single weekly candle below this previous level ever since it broke out back in November. So that's just another thing. Like, if total looks this bullish, then it's going to go higher, right? This is something that everybody needs to realize, that this is the beginning of something beautiful. It's not the end.
But it can go down to the next flip down below.
Yeah, it can go here. Let me just draw my yeah. Yeah, it's going to go back down to 3 billion.
I mean, granted,
I just keep laughing.
Yeah, go ahead, Tracker. Sorry.
I just keep laughing in my own head because we haven't even started the use cases for a lot of these coins yet. I know a lot of them are just like stupid meme coins and stuff, but there are plenty of coins out there that actually have a function that were designed to fulfill, and we haven't even started using some of those functions yet.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when the use cases come in, the coins will actually have real value.
Yeah.
Because they actually do real economic work or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this chart, it makes me even wonder why I invest in stocks anyways, because I just think it's going to be super exponential beyond anybody's wildest imagination. And I think that's the only thing Raoul Powell is getting right, because he got XRP wrong, but I think he's right about that. It's going to be something that just blows everybody's minds, that it's just going to keep going higher and higher and higher.
Very cool. Yeah, somebody asked if we want to talk about Bitcoin. I mean, you can show that Bitcoin is underneath the 1.272 log and that we're still underneath resistance, and that would be it.
Yeah. Well, and on linear scale, don't forget the 91.1 and the 102. Don't forget that.
Yeah,
like
it's stuck in a range.
Yeah. This is the definition of stuck in a range. Yeah. And it's beautiful. I think I saw like somebody on X or something draw like a trend line or something. I don't know. Like one of these, like a trend. Oh, it's a breakout and a back test of trend, right? Oh my God, this is so great too. Right? Like, these are all the things we need to pay attention to. Like, and then today, I was on a Spaces call, and like a lot of people on Spaces, they were just talking about like, yeah, it's probably going to go to 80s, maybe even lower. I'm like, I don't see it still. I just don't see it. Like, it really looks like it's building a strong foundation. And even if you just use trend lines alone, it's a break of trend, back test, back test, back test, back test, back test, ready to just explode again. So do not be afraid of what is happening in the markets. I think all of this is an opportunity. Like in my personal opinion, almost every single coin out there besides WIF looks like a buy.
With
It's a cup and
Yeah.
handle, like just sort of at an angle going up the
Yeah.
hill.
yeah, Pepit doesn't look bad either. Yeah, you're right.
Pepe looks fine. Yeah, Shib looks fine, but WIF looks terrible.
Yeah. What about
Yeah.
Trump? I'm just kidding. Please don't do Trump. Anyway, yeah. So I think we're good. You want to talk about XRP?
Well, XRP, I mean, what is there to talk about? It's only the best looking chart in the world. God. Essentially, what I'm focused on are two things, and the first one is staying above this 886, and the second thing is maintaining the monthly Bollinger Band, right, as support. That's it, right here, and it's doing both. Right, the 245 is that upper Bollinger Band, and it's still holding it as support, guys. So no matter what it does, it looks like that is like being a magnet for price, where every time it goes a little bit below it, it wants to get back above it. So I think I cannot be bearish at all about XRP.
Yeah, base and conversion too. It's like a lot of support there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's it. Somebody asked about Doge. What do you think about Doge?
Doge is a cryptocurrency.
It's also a government department, but
Oh yes, it's also that Elon Musk tries to spy on people's social security numbers. Yeah.
Which he could have had access to when he had the PayPal.
Oh,
but
yeah.
he didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care about your social security number.
No. So yeah, here's Doge. It is getting kind of like, I don't know. It's basically in the same zone that it's been in for the past 3 weeks. Kind of getting rejected by the 618. If we put it on a linear scale, we can see it already back tested the 2362. So it looks like it really has potential to do something in the weeks to come. And the reason why I say the weeks to come, because if you put on the Ichimoku in some weeks, it's going to be closer and closer to the cloud. So maybe by like April or March or something, it can start to go higher and then build a base and go there. So maybe just a few more weeks or so of sideways action, and then I think it'll be ready to continue higher.
Yeah, some people got pretty upset that it broke underneath the 0.618, but I think it's okay. I think it's just a deviation. These things happen. Sometimes you can break about the 0.786 like it did a couple months ago, right, when everybody was super bullish, and now you're kind of breaking underneath of it a little bit. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think everything looks super healthy. I did more buying of crypto today too, like some Chainlink and some Fetch AI and stuff like that. Yeah, I just think a lot of them. Yeah, I think they just look beautiful. I posted on X today about Chainlink going to 200, and somebody's like, "No, it's not." I'm like, "Okay,
That sounds
We'll
about
see.
right. Yeah, that sounds about right. I was thinking, I think like last year or 2 years ago, I said like Chainlink to 180 in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then people just laugh at me, like, okay, whatever.
But no,
And,
I like when people laugh, because when people
Yeah.
laugh, it's like when it happens, they'll be the ones buying, and I'll be the one selling at that
yeah,
price.
it was just $7. I mean, like, and like, how could it go to 180, right? I mean, anyway, got Evan here ask about a bunch of miners. I don't think we're gonna go for all of them, but you want to like touch on like the major ones?
Yeah, let me do HBAR because somebody's asking about that first before we
Sure.
switch over. Because somebody said it's painful, and I can't understand how that's painful because it's
painfully consolidating, getting
You
you
sit
ready
on it
to
too
buy.
fast.
yeah, like this one's actually holding its 618 perfectly, unlike Doge. God, but this
Ouch.
is not like how I don't see how this one's painful. It had a monster move. Let's do a percentage from the bottom here. It had a 830 or 40% move, and how much of a percentage down is that? Only about 50%. That's not even a big deal. That's a normal day for crypto. This is not painful at all. This is normal. Only if you bought at where the risk reward is not in your favor, right? If you bought up here near the 786, this is not a good place to buy because it's not really that it's not that likely it's going to just smash through all this resistance and go higher. So now that it's consolidating around here, I think it's a good place. And it's kind of like Doge, maybe just a few more weeks or months or so, getting closer to this cloud over here before it's ready to go higher. So there's a common theme in crypto, and a lot of things are looking like maybe March, maybe April or something is when things are really going to start to accelerate. So I am looking forward to that.
Yep. Same here. Thinking the same thing.
How beautiful.
Yeah. So with that said, what do the miners look like? I think they all look the same.
Just
They all look good.
Riot, CleanSpark, Mara. I don't think we have to go for more than that.
I really still love what Real Blonde Broker said about, when she thinks about the miners and MicroStrategy first. And, like MicroStrategy is the general. And if MicroStrategy starts to do really well, then you can expect the miners will follow MicroStrategy.
There might be a point. There might be a point where it changes with increasing global liquidity, depending on Bitcoin dominance. I think their MicroStrategy was also a little bit like an early mid-cycle boomer. I think it would continue to do very well, but I think at some point that might change. So
yeah. And plus, MicroStrategy already got to the 1.618 on log scale. So, I mean, how much more upside is there really? Maybe one more fib extension, but all of these miners, they can go a lot further currently at current prices.
not to say that MicroStrategy is not still the captain or general or whatever, because things still haven't changed yet. Bitcoin dominance is still high, so MicroStrategy is still going to be the captain right now. So what the Blonde Broker said is still absolutely valid.
Yeah, it is true. So starting with CLSK, I like it. If you're looking for a place to buy, I would buy here, right? I'm not saying you should, but this is historically, ever since it flipped this angle from a resistance right here in 2023, flipped into a support. Every single time it got close there or even a little bit below, that's been the opportunity. And what do you know? It's right there again. Right. So, and with that said, I think it can eventually get at least maybe to this green level. I think it can get to the 50s minimum for this cycle, I think. And for Mara here, I think Mara is the same way. Every time it got close to this 45-degree angle, and the only time was basically back in December 2022, it was the time to buy. So we are basically at that point again. It's kind of the same thing. I would be a buyer here personally. And we can see that now price is probably going to maybe just follow this 45-degree angle up as a support, just like CLSK, and eventually break through this $25 level and then go higher. And we can look at Riot here. And Riot, I don't have the, I think I deleted it by accident, but I'm just waiting for a price to basically get back above this 382. But essentially what you can see is the moving averages for Riot, and it's holding this 100-week moving average, and it's right there. And you can see for the past couple of months, it's like just one nice little bull flag, and it looks like it was trying to build a nice base on top of this 100, and it wants to go higher. I mean, they all look like they're pretty much in a support zone right now, except for some of the ones that are a little bit more bullish, like maybe Cypher. I think Cypher, yeah, it's above all the averages, but it's even more bullish, right? So I think it has potential to still break out eventually, but not right away because there is a lot of resistance here. So maybe a little bit more sideways before price really wants to try to break the arcs and go higher. But honestly, they don't look bad. And regardless of what's happening with crypto, even on a down day, they didn't really do much today. And I don't know why. I guess they had to take out some loans on their private jets and buy more stock back or something. I don't know what happened.
That dilution is good because it creates more liquidity. I have no idea. I'm just making crap up. Anyway, it doesn't. Yeah, the narratives don't matter. But yeah, I think they look great. So, Tracker, you've been quiet.
Oh, I've been, yep, sorry. Just listening to you guys and looking through the chat and trying to engage with some of the people in the chat here too. Um,
Has
people were,
anybody been bothering you about Tesla or anything else?
no, it's pretty quiet about Tesla because people were, I don't know, maybe it's just my own point of view. Let me show you Tesla. Um, Take a look at this. I've got this really colorful chart. You're gonna love it. Ooh, it's got so many crazy
Viral.
indicators on here.
Is that a
Oh,
black
I
hole?
know. I know, right? No, it's this Fibonacci. What is it? What do they call it? Fib circles. I just thought I'd try it out. I thought if I started from here, uh, from the 138.80 low to this significant high, what would it kind of look like? And then I started messing with the circle. I started pulling it around until I got it to like kind of capture, like this zone here, and right here, then right here, and it caught it there, and then this area here, and so now it's kind of like on the border of this red circle here. And look, it's finally on the outside of it, but it's really following along. Um, so yeah, it's almost time for this light blue circle. We're almost ready for that phase. Hang on a second. Sorry, clear my throat. And so I was trying to look at Tesla some different ways. And let me just turn off the fib circle for a second because that's the last thing I stuck on there.
I like
Let's
it.
just hide that.
I like it, actually.
I know it's kind of
Yeah,
cool, right?
pretty
Like
cool.
it's these crazy zones that it goes through. And you can see where. Oh, here they are. They're down here. Here's the Fibonacci levels kind of written here. 618, 786, 100%. This is the 1618 that we are. No, we're out of the 1618. We're in the 2618 now, and then the next circle is the 3618. So we're just exiting the 2618 into the 3618 circle now. But so I think I posted this. Publicly, and I've got a few different ideas. One is, what if we get a measured move from this wave two bottom? This is like a whole cycle here, and then consolidation, and then if we move the exact same amount, these are the exact same arrows. I haven't done anything to it except place this arrow from here at the 183. It's not the 138 blue. It's 184.35, and then up to the 48.54, and I just dropped it to this 320.07, which I think has very good possibility of being the bottom of this. And I kind of did let's see, what else did I do? Maybe it's an inverse head and shoulders right here. I mean, we only have half of it, so it's hard to say. So far, we've only built up about. We're still kind of like in the head here. We're just getting past the ears, heading for the neckline there on this inverse head and shoulders. And what else did I do? I did a kind of a ghost feed. I looked at back here where we had. Gosh, now I can't remember where I got this ghost feed from. Oh no, here it is. So here's the island bottom. It's this island bottom right here. So I just grabbed from here the same, since I'm comparing this arrow to perhaps this arrow. Well, I did a ghost feed from right here to here, and I glued it on right here at this 320.07 bottom. And this is kind of what it looks like, and it still follows inside this cool. This is a weekly. I should put this on weeks. Yeah, it's a 90-week Gann chart. So it just has 90-week periods. Here's the same numbers if you look at my post or just want to grab them off here, the ratios and stuff. And I just followed this 45-degree line kind of right through, trying to capture the symmetry of this high low, this high, and we just sort of got a test back to just under it here. So, if it just follows this horizontal line, I'm sorry, this 45-degree angle that takes us to like 647. This one's 647 January 2026. Of course, I'm looking forward to break out of this thing, a wave 5 melt up. If we got my 711 by July 18th, this is what it would look like. It would go exactly to here. So, you know, we're looking for a repeat fractal of the island bottom we had down here, kind of happening down. So some crazy move where it runs up to about $501, drops back to just under 400 again. No, like touches the bottom of this thing, and then runs back up and goes up again. I know it's insane, right? But it's happened before, so it could happen. Like here's your evening star inverted, and amplified. It looks like a island bottom. I don't know. This is what I'm looking for. These are just my musings.
Do you think your theory fits the Larry Williams, the seasonality, things like that?
Why, yes, it does. Because look, here, Larry Williams is talking about how he thinks that Tesla should hit a new, like a new peak in March. Not necessarily a higher high, but I was hoping it would retest that higher high in March, actually. But peak in March, then a low period, April through May, and then higher in July. Though here, this looks like it just keeps going up through May. This does not look like a... Well, here's your sell in May and go away, right here.
Yeah.
And then comes back in June.
Yeah.
And June to July, and then just melts up in July when I guess people see all the robo-taxis taking all the business away from Uber. And they've got it not just in... I don't know. It's supposed to start in Austin and maybe in California somewhere. But a nice surprise would be if they roll it out to more cities than just a few cities this year. That's it. That's all I got to say about Tesla right now. And it's got to prove it. Is this the same chart? No. But I talked about if you look at the max pain and options for the rest of the year, all the max pain options say that Tesla's just going to go sideways, like between 400 and 350, 400, 350, all the way through the end of the year. Of course, that can't happen. But I was telling people, watch the implied volatility on those options, and when the implied volatility gets very close to the historical low volatility, that's when it's time to buy your calls. When the market just says, we're giving up. We don't think it's going to go any higher. That's when it's all going to flip out. I don't know. Maybe it'll flip out in the next few weeks here. Yeah, that's it. I'm just looking for March. If this thing doesn't peak in March, then I'm going to have to rethink my July 711 by July 18th. But so far, it's still possible. This angle right here, this dashed line, I took it from the 138.80 low, and it's just this dashed line right here. It just goes straight. It's a straight line to my. Oh no, it doesn't do that. Oh, the blue line is a straight line. I'm sorry.
I gotcha.
So, if we could just keep the blue line in sight.
Oh yeah.
There you go, Tesla per tracker.
A lot of things are pointing to March, like even crypto, Tesla. A lot of things are pointing to March.
Everything rally.
March. It's been rallying.
My birthday's March 22nd. I would love to get a nice. Yeah, I mean it is rallying, right? Yeah. As far as Tesla went, I think the low was right here, February 12th. So. Let's let the market prove it to us now. Let's get this head and shoulders. Let's see 420 again soon.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Maybe end of February.
Yeah, I got a Tesla chart too.
Oh yeah, let's do that's just.
All right, Tesla. Here we go. It's holding.
You're reading the Tony Liberty chart.
What if it goes
down? Here we go.
But what if it goes down to the FIB level below, Matt?
Well, then it might just go. It might go down. Then it might just go like left a little bit, and then it might just go all the way. I don't. Yeah. Anyways.
I think
So
that yeah,
Go through a wormhole.
the important lesson is not to not over leverage. But I think this is a pretty good spot to have bought when price wicked down underneath that FIB level. It could still break down, could still test the 0.786, right? I mean, nothing in live is guaranteed, but that's a really nice wick. I like that wick.
it's a nice wick, doji, butterfly, dragonfly, grasshopper. I don't even know, whatever you want to call it. It looks gorgeous. And not only that, like this zone, there is so much in this zone. There's so much happening here as a confluence of support, I should mention. And first thing is the all important 886. It's 353 and price is staying above. Then you got the linear scale 347, and that is holding above too. Then you have the Ichimoku, you have the baseline 345. Then you have the 20-week moving average out of the Bollinger Band, and what do you know? It's right there at 354.45, so it's a little bit below that right now. Ooh, scary, huh? Scary, scary, scary. No, I don't think so. Like this is looking like with all those confluences, I think this could be a pretty good week for Tesla. I think it happens to kind of match maybe what it's kind of doing right back here, just in a bigger scale, right? It just came up, got rejected, came back down to the 20-week, went below, and then it moved its journey higher. So it is kind of resembling a lot of things before, after it touched a lot of support and wicked below, with even like a doji candle there as well. So I don't know. I just think like with all that confluence of support, there is a very good possibility that this is the bottom, to not assume that we're going to go lower. And for me, I don't think I need to assume anything yet until maybe this 347 or even the baseline gets broken as support, this 345. Like if those ever get broken as support on a weekly candle close, then perhaps I'll discuss like more downside risk. But until then, I think this is a beautiful setup for the future right now. And I think that people that are like, oh, it's going back to 300 or 200, like, okay, if it does, I don't really care either way, but I'll just probably buy more TSLL. But I'm not going to assume that, because if you keep assuming it's going to go lower, 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 then when do you buy? Like, do you buy when it's like negative 140 or something? Like, when do you buy? I just don't understand that mentality, because you have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Conviction. Yeah, you have to have conviction in your trades, and if you don't have conviction, then what are you doing, right? Then you're just trusting somebody else to make a decision for you. But for me, I just think this zone looks too good to hold. So I'm gonna assume it's gonna hold until there's proof that it doesn't want to hold anymore.
Yeah, treat Tesla like your masseuse, like your massage, therapist. Don't say lower. Don't say lower, please. Like, don't do that. It's already getting to your lower back. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's soothing your pain. It's doing what it needs to. Don't ask for lower. It's just not appropriate.
Unless it's one of those massage places that they specialize in lower.
Which is a callback to the title of today's episode. I don't understand that, but
Where's the happy ending?
the question is not where, right? The question should be when.
No, but everybody, I think today, the reason why I put where's the happy ending, because I think today, like, everybody got really shaken by it. They got like, well, what's going on? Everything's just over now. It's going to go lower. So where is everything? Where's our upward priceward momentum or whatever, right? Where is it?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Your calves are tight. You want to get massages, but like, just don't ask. Just don't say lower. It's just gross. Anyway, but with that said, Tracker, I have another question for you. What
Sure,
other small caps are you paying attention to that looks good to you?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. Let's see.
You have the next 10-15 minutes to all to yourself.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Well, everyone was asking about Grab, and so I did chart Grab, and I do see I've just got Matsby's targets on for the short term here. Let's see. This was like if this was Coinbase. Now, right here, 572 was his previous high, came down to 430. So, once it got over the 786, the magic number of 542, then it could just keep going up. And it's just about ready to break out over this 100% fib retracement and then go higher to either 127.20 or maybe 141.4, which would be 631. So I like this for the short-term target. Larger degree, though, grab is just, I'm looking for just a simple ABC retrace back to the 618 from its previous all-time high. So from 18 down to 219, 382, 236, 618, back to 1203. Looking back here, that seems to make sense with the kind of price action it had right here. That a retest of the 618 at $12.03 looks pretty good. And that gives us, let's see, from a price closed today, about 124% higher. And then if you take this extrapolation of, well, if it can get back to the previous all-time high and then go higher, like on Matt's fibs, then one day it'll do like 22.44 for the 127.2 or maybe 24.70. So I love using these retrace levels. They're just so cool, and they really work out really well. So there's your grab.
I have
and you can see also I was tracking kind of a triangle here.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
beautiful breakout, your triangle. Yeah. I
Yeah.
have
I didn't even finish the triangle. It just kind of like, you just flagged.
Yeah. I have a quick grab chart on the monthly. It's the same setup as like Coinbase almost, except it's just like at lower level in terms of fib.
Are we going to get to see it? Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Thanks,
so
Matt.
basically, you remember what I was showing you about Palantir. You remember I was showing you about Coinbase, right? Grab basically just had a bullish cross over here, back test the baseline over here, push through, and then just went all the way up here. I mean, granted, it got rejected. Actually, where did it get rejected at? Yeah, it got rejected more or less at the 0.382, right? And then it's just been back testing the conversion line and the 0.136 linear fib level here. So this looks a very, very similar setup as I was showing you with Coinbase, right? Very similar, except just at lower level. And that also looked like a very similar setup as Palantir, right? So sorry about all these Palantir symbols over here. So yeah, I mean, I just think that it's a pretty decent setup. And the other thing I usually look at is also the Bollinger Band strategy. Like back in November, it's just way too far, way too fast. It has to come back inside the Bollinger Band. Right now, you got the mouth opening. Danny loves this crocodile mouth opening on the monthly Bollinger Band, right? Upper Bollinger Band, low Bollinger Band, 20-month moving average. Oh yeah, the crocodile's feeding. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. That's a pretty decent chart. So I agree with your tracker. Like it broke a bit above your triangle. It looks like it's going to go higher. It looks like Bollinger Bands are allowing it to do that. So it's a pretty good confluence level there. So.
Yeah, and we got Matt's seal of approval. He used to use grab all the time.
Yeah, Vietnam, Bali, Thailand, everywhere. Yeah.
And so now the new story, the new narrative is that they're going to do, Grab is going to do over there what Uber did over here, and it'll start to like delivering food.
Yeah. I used it in the Philippines too. It's pretty smooth. It's actually pretty good app. So.
Yeah, it's a good thing, and I think it's interesting too because Grab, if you looked at the weekly chart, it closed a penny above the 200-week moving average on Friday, and then you get a gap up on Monday. It's like you can't really make that stuff up, really. It's like it was the.
And they have earnings.
It was the first. It was the first weekly candle close above the 200-week moving average ever, and then you get a gap up. Like you can't really make that up. You can't make that up.
Yeah. Rejection, breakthrough, gap up. Yeah. Actually, try to close the gap here. I don't think the gap is really closed. Yeah, it's like 1 cent away from closing the gap. Wow. Okay. Yeah, pretty good chart.
Yeah, it looks good. Very good chart. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other recommendations, tracker?
Let's see. I'll show you this Don't put a lot of money into this one, but it could be very profitable. This CLSK core, LAES is the ticker for it. Here's the history of it. It hit an all-time high of $28.50, ran down to 29 cents, and it was stuck. It was between like $2 and like almost nothing for a very long time, and it kind of built this like nobody cared about a base for a very long time, and then it broke out, and then here's where all the whales showed up and just bought the hell out of this thing for a little bit. Then they just disappeared. They shut the tap off, and now retail's been left to kind of foul around with it. But you could see the whales are like, they're competing to collect shares from each other. They're stumbling over each other to buy shares of it. And now they got enough for now. And I just see this thing going higher again. A simple ABC retrace. Oh, this one came a little bit lower. It's pulled the rubber band back farther. Oh, the retrace I would be looking for would be like 382, 236, 618 typically. But looking back, there seems to be more confluence higher. At least the 70.2, 78.6 I like even better. Anyway, it went to the 382 right here. It went just a hair above 1027, and then it's pulled the rubber band way back below the 236. I sold here, was accumulating here, and then now I have to keep on buying it as it pulls lower. But now it's pulled back to this 11.4, and I think when it lets go the rubber band, it should snap at least to 2083. I actually have this 2344 for the 886 possible, and then also trying to do it possibly as 5 waves up, but just an ABC retrace looks good to me. And so it went sideways for a very long time, and the longer it went nowhere, then when it did pop, the higher went. It's kind of doing the same thing now. It's just kind of going sideways for a little bit. I don't know how long it's going to go, but eventually it's going to pop back up again, and I'm ready to capitalize on that. I've got a bunch of shares down here now.
Oh my God, so
that's just
their ticker symbol is their name backwards. LAES, seal backwards. Oh my God, mind blown.
Oh, it's seal backwards. Ah.
You love those anagrams. I mean, did I say right? Yeah. You love those anagrams.
What do they call them? Palindromes.
I prefer anagrams.
Yeah, I agree.
Anagram.
So the reason why I think it's good to pay attention to the tracker too, because you got a long spreadsheet, you got a lot of different plays. And I think you pay attention to a lot of these small caps. And we just spent a whole hour before talking about how we might have a rotation coming, we're going to have global liquidity coming in. All these small caps, there's a potential for them to kind of just pop one at a time, and that money is probably going to end up rotating from one thing to another. So I think it's a good idea maybe to follow. If you're interested in trading, I'm not a trader, I don't care that much, but if you're interested in trading, if you want to like look at some small cap plays, maybe Tracker is a good person to follow. I'm just saying.
And it's very cheap. I'm only $2 a month for my X subscription, and you can access my whole spreadsheet full of small caps. EOSE is a great one that I was tracking for a long time here, back from when it was under $1, and now it's about $5, and I'm looking forward to reach $8.88 next. Yeah, I've got tons of these small caps with thousands and thousands of percentages and potential gains mapped out with my Elliott wave theory.
Beautiful. Well, I mean, I think we've all said our piece in terms of what we wanted to get out there. This week has not been as bitter for Tesla as the previous week, and of course, other people are getting bitter about something else. There's always going to be people bitter about something. So don't be bitter. Put a smile on your face, even if you're sad inside and dead inside. Just put a smile on your face, because nobody wants to hear it. Sorry, I don't know. I'm just
just shut your mouth.
I'm just kidding. Hey, actually, keep talking because we
fine.
need the sentiment gauge. Like, it's actually very important to us. So
Yeah, it is.
thank you for engaging with us, and thank you for tuning in again.
Sure. You know, here's a
Go for it.
Yeah, GEVO.
Oh,
Vasu Manga
GEVO,
wanted GEVO. So here it is, GEVO. It did a tracker triangle that went 1, 2, 3, 4. This little question mark is like, when is it going to hit the bottom again? When is it going to hit the bottom again? And it hasn't hit it yet. Like this was almost. I drew this when price was over. What is up here? I said I think it's going to come down here, and it didn't quite hit it. So I don't know if it's like waiting, and it's going to go sideways and then touch it, and then go out. But yeah, once GEVO finishes this triangle, it's going to break out to the upside, and these are my fib targets. There's 2 ways to look at it, and it's posted for all my subscribers, and sharing the same chart here with you now. Either an ABC retrace where it goes back up to the 618, $9.80, ABC, or we get 5 waves off of this bottom. This is your wave 1, wave 2 at $1.30 was the bottom of wave 2. So that goes to the 764, 382, 132, 100%, 232 to 897, and they're kind of confluent with each other. So anyway, I've got gosh. Actually, I can't remember if I sold GEVO and I was waiting to buy it back, or I feel like I should have some. I'm just looking right now. Yep, I've got it. I've got only about 3,200 shares of it. I should probably buy some more. All right, that's it, GEVO. And this is the hard thing about this was I did ask. I was tracking it earlier. And I think we were buying it up around here, thinking it would break out, but no, it went back down to this triangle thing. So some of the people that followed me in are probably still underwater for a little bit, but once it gets back out, breaks over this, will be good. That's it, GEVO. And sorry, Kat, you can take us out.
No, I don't want to take you out. I want everybody to stay alive. Yeah.
Take us on out of the show.
No,
Thanks for the plug.
actually, Trekker, you're very good at that. So please, I'll let you do the takeaway. Go for it, man.
Well, you know, also if you are interested in learning how to do technical trading and just like a really good way, a good methodology for trading, learning to buy support, sell resistance, and I can't recommend enough Matsby's subscription service. He's got, gosh, it was Telegram. Now it's still Telegram.
Yeah, it's Telegram. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a Telegram subscription service, and he's bringing back. He had this fantastic educational course, and he's been reworking it, and he's getting ready to bring it back.
Well, it's
I
already in
took
process. Like there's like 6 lessons, 1 video at a time, when I have enough time. So yeah, it's on Patreon,
Nice.
Tier 4, if you guys are interested to learn how to do things.
Yes, do that. So I highly recommend his Patreon subscription. You get all of Matt's charts, and oh my gosh, they're so good. And his recommendations for here's support, here's resistance, places to add and subtract your positions, very good. And his lessons are so easy to understand. I really enjoyed going through them.
Well, thank
Matt,
you so
Matt
much,
has
Trevor.
been very influential in terms of my thinking as well. So, yeah, can't recommend it enough. I think Trekker and I still try to go hang out at your Telegram every once in a while. I try posting some of my subscriber video over there too to kind of share and build a community. You got a good community over there.
Yeah, a bunch of good people.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's it. It's 9 o'clock. Let's close shop. Let's do it. Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right, guys.
We'll be back again next Tuesday night.
All right, we'll see you then. Bye, guys.
All right. Take care.
Bye, everybody. Thank you all.